Welcome to the C2C Podcast. I am your host, Derek Anderson. After holding my first event in 2010, I went on to create Startup Grind, a 400-chapter community based in over 100 countries. Along the way, I discovered the greatest marketing tool of all time, your customers. Yet, I couldn't find anyone sharing how to build a community where people could experience your brand in person or at scale. On this show, we talk with the brightest minds and companies on the planet about how to build customer-to-customer marketing strategies and create in-person experiences for your brand and customers before your competitor does.
John Fry from the Bevy team here, and I'm so excited to announce our next guest, Brian Brannon, who is currently a corporate marketing manager over at Gainsight, the leading customer success platform. Now, on this episode, Brian and Derek talked about how Gainsight built their own category, customer success, in large part due to the work that Brian has been doing with their community called Pulse Local. They also talked about why customer-to-customer marketing is such a powerful tool and how their ambassadors are now moving closer and closer to the C-suite as the industry that they have created rises as well. Without further ado, please enjoy the show.
Gainsight is a customer success platform that really helps you analyze your customer base and proactively meet their needs, no matter what kind of business you are. So if you're a SaaS business, we help you take all the data of how they're using your product and how they're interacting with your team. So both the product side and the human first interaction point, analyze that entire customer experience and really help increase opportunities for upsell, for expansion, and for renewal when it comes time to do that.
So you have this more and more established enterprise SaaS product, growing team, growing customer base. Talk to us about what Pulse Local is, which is Gainsight's community, how it works, and maybe even take us to the beginning of sort of where it got started. You know, what was the beginnings of why you all started, building this community?
Back in the early days of Gainsight, customer success wasn't a known category. And so unlike a lot of different businesses, we were in a unique position where we had to go out and help create the category around what people were delivering, which is called customer success. And so one of the first ways you go and do that, Derek, is that you have to give these professionals a place to go to feel like they have a sense of community. And so in early 2013, 2014, we announced at our Pulse conference that we were launching Pulse Local and that we were going to help 12 cities really rally around the profession and help grow their own careers and grow their connections and the networks within their cities. And so that's when we started Pulse Local. Austin, Boston, Chicago were some of the first few chapters. And it's grown exponentially from there up to 60 chapters internationally. And we keep growing every single week. And really, it's grown from just a regular meetup to now a epicenter within each region and within each city of customer success and post-sales functions as well. So whether you're in product management or whatnot, it's really, really been great to see.
I think typically the way that people have engaged at the local level with these kinds of customers or potential customers was either in like a field marketing program or they just force everybody to come to one location for their big user conference, which you have one of those as well. But I wonder, this sort of idea and shift with Gainsight to actually have the customers directly engage with these events and sort of representing your brand there. Can you talk about how that came to be, or how the brand got over the idea of, letting someone else sort of take the reins and play a big role in building these communities and hosting these events?
Really, it ties back to something that I know you and in this podcast and in general it speaks to, is that customer to customer selling is the most powerful tool, right? Creating advocacy programs for your customers and where they can talk about their personal experience with your company is going to be more powerful than any demand gen structure you can build or any demand gen program you can build, because it's more intimate in a way and it's more authentic. And so we made a commitment that said, with these Pulse Local communities, we're not here to push product. We're here to create communities and stories based on our customers' experiences that will then lead with our product. So we took some of our most successful customers, said, you're doing an excellent job of implementing customer success and growing what it means to be a customer success professional. And our product is a part of that. But would you take it on yourself to carry the mantle and carry the torch within your own community to share your best practices with those that are trying to develop their own program?
And what's specifically from Gainsight, and we've heard from other brands of why people do this, but specifically for Gainsight, what's in it for these customers to get engaged? What tangibly did they get out of, the time and energy and effort that they put into being part of your community?
Yeah, on the member side, we want to make sure that every event is career focused in some part. So helping them understand where their vertical opportunity is in terms of moving up within a company. One thing we talk about a lot is that the customer success manager is now a viable pathway to the chief executive officer. And we're seeing more and more C-level careers and more C-level titles being bestowed within customer success professionals, such as the chief customer officer and now even chief operations officers. So we want to make sure every event has some career component where people can come either network, plan their career together, but then also get the operational expertise to go and do their jobs better when they leave that event. So they get a lot of learning and empowerment and enablement from each event, but then they also get tied into the broader Pulse ecosystem, which now contains over 20 events worldwide every single year, including our major conference, a digital component coming later this year, which we're really excited to plug everyone into, and world tours, which spanned every single continent, except maybe Antarctica, that we can. So a really big ecosystem that we're trying to build out to help further the community.
I love that idea that these events are, you're so overtly focused on actually helping these customers be successful. And the career path, we see all different types, and some sort of bridge on the side of maybe being more sort of company focused or helping a product. And I feel like the Gainsight events are really more sort of focused and tied into really helping the organizers and the needs that they have. And did they always start out that way? Did that evolve over time? Is that something you learned through trial and error, or was it just instinctively this was the way to do it from the beginning?
I think when we started the program, I know our CEO, Nick Mehta, is extremely passionate about doing things authentically and doing things that put the community first. And so we knew that, to your previous point, hosting a field marketing event would almost always be taken as a vendor pitch, and that truly to build an authentic community around empowering the category and the industry, we'd have to enable the people that were already doing amazing things. A lot of our chapters are led by leaders that already have meetup groups around customer success, or already have, monthly webinars around customer success that are already cultivating their communities and growing them together. And we just plug them into our ecosystem of speakers, of sometimes sponsorship supports, and our broad category of all the content that we built year over year in our conferences and within our own research within the category. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily an initial thing, but it's something we knew we had to do long term to make sure that the community was taken authentically and not as a vendor pitch.
One of the other things that I really respect about the Pulse Local program, or the Pulse program in general, is you've tried so many different things. Like I think at one point you made like a music album, and you've had and Gainsight maybe more broadly gets credit for this, but had a book and had, there's all sorts of different programs that you've done, and maybe some of them worked really well and maybe some of them didn't, but it feels like the organization overall has been really open to taking a lot of risks and trying things, knowing that we may get laughed at for this, but it's clever, or maybe people won't think it's clever, but we're still going to try it. And is that maybe that's driven by Nick or driven by the leadership on the team? What happens in those meetings when these sorts of ideas start coming up? How do they actually get from, hey, we got this crazy idea, to actually getting out in the wild?
Yeah, there's a lot of enthusiasm and passion at our company, from Nick all the way to our CMO and across the board for some pretty wild ideas, to your point. And what we always try to bring, and one of our core values at Gainsight, is childlike joy, and bringing a learner's mind. Two of our values, bringing a learner's mind to everything that you do. So we always have a sentiment that the best idea wins. And we're willing to double down, and we're willing to chase that idea as far as it goes. Now, that doesn't always mean that the best idea is having your CEO as a rap star, which, by the way, little plug here, if you want a great hot track off the thing, check out iTunes, Apple for Who's Fired Up, the first rap video on customer success. Very great. But we always think, as long as we can push the boundary of the norms, especially in enterprise software, and do something unique that is community focused and that is fun oftentimes, then that's, a great way for us to do that. But Nick's very passionate about chasing some crazy ideas, and our CMO, Anthony Canada, has some crazy ideas that he loves chasing, whether that's a Backstreet song or bringing Vanilla Ice to our conference last year. We're always trying to push the envelope in some way.
So 12 cities, now upwards of 60 cities. What happened in over that span of growing the community? Did it maintain sort of what the core always was? Did it evolve? Did it change? And then what do you think the future looks like? Is that or is 60 like the optimal number? Like, talk to us about that.
Yeah, it's really a testament to the growth of the industry as a whole. Over the last few years, we've seen an exponential rise from 2015, where there was less than 5,000 customer success managers, all the way to today, where there are about 35,000 true CSMs, according to LinkedIn, and it's just growing more and more every year. And it's really a testament that businesses are shifting the way that they approach and think about the customer relationship. And to your point, is 60 the optimal number? No, we think that customer success and really the customer experience and how that affects subscription growth will affect every business in the future, as every business becomes more subscription oriented and more oriented around software.
What do you see as the biggest challenges for you in 2019 to take it to that next level and to really see through on that vision?
For the community aspect in a whole, it's all around becoming better at enabling individuals and leaders that are already being successful in their own groups. We're, from a community standpoint, we're a small team here at Gainsight in terms of managing communities, and really finding an effective way to communicate one-to-many and enable leaders in a one-to-many fashion is going to be essential for scaling. And it's going to be essential for making sure that our leaders that already exist are successful and can successfully host events and manage events at scale.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you.
Thank you so much, Derek. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, please leave a review wherever you listen to this. If you'd like to see more about how to create your own event community, go to bevylabs.com/pod. Again, that's BEVYLABS.com/pod.